Okay, so uh, unlike um, Getting Coffee is Hard to Do by Stanley Fish, we have Joshua Piven's essay, How to Decorate Your Room When You're Broke. And this essay demonstrates what a set of instructions looks like. So let's just go back to the review quickly and cover again what the difference between a set of instructions and a process explanation is. So, set of instructions, the purpose is to help readers actually do a process. It uses second person, so you is the subject. We use present tense verbs, and it's written in the imperative mood. In other words, it's written with commands. Okay, so let's take a look on page 290. How to decorate your room when you're broke. And again, you might have the PDF version of this as well, which is fine. The essay actually begins on page 291 with the words milk crate chair. And it says, you will need a square, stackable milk crate, a cloth placemat or your favorite fabric in a similar size, an old magazine, 6 large car wash sponges, heavy upholstery thread, an upholstery sewing needle, and scissors. Now at this point, I'd like to remind the reader, for whom this essay is written. Let's take a look at the title, How to Decorate Your Room When You're Broke. And the background information that the textbook gives us is about college students. So the audience, the ideal audience for this essay is a broke college student. So a college student that has no money. Let's continue reading these directions with that in mind, or this set of instructions with that in mind. It gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, all the way to 8 instructions. So turn the crate upside down. Create the base of the cushion. Arrange 4 sponges on top of the magazine. Lay the remaining sponges on top of the existing row. Anchor the placemat to the crate. Push down on the placemat. Sew the placemat to the crate. Sit. Beware, if you're using your own fabric rather than a placemat, put masking tape around the edges. All right, and we have a picture of the milk crate chair. Let's continue reviewing the content of the essay, going on 292 to t-shirt curtains. To accommodate a window of approximately 4 feet by 4 feet, you will need 13 of your favorite old t-shirts, 1 spool of thread in any color, 1 to 2 spools of iron-on hem tape, 1 spool of picture hanging wire, 2 medium weight eye-hole screws, 1 manila folder or similarly stiff paper, a medium tipped marking pen, a sharp pair of scissors, and a sewing machine. And then again, it gives you a list of instructions on how to create that t-shirt curtain. Now, remembering that audience, a broke college student, let's take another look at all the stuff that we'll need. And I want everybody to think about what of these items do you have at home? Do you have a stackable milk crate? Do you have 6 large car wash sponges? Do you have heavy upholstery thread? An upholstery sewing needle? Do you have, or could you spare, would you want to spare 13 of your favorite old t-shirts? Do you have 1 to 2 spools of iron-on hem tape? Do you have a spool of picture hanging wire? Do you have 2 medium weight eye-hole screws? Do you have not just any marker, but a medium tipped marking pen? Do you have a sewing machine? Now, if you didn't have all that stuff, and most likely you don't, I know I don't have most of those things, you would have to go out and purchase all those things, right? It doesn't seem very realistic for somebody who is broke, who doesn't have any money. So right now I'm questioning, who this author is and what their goal is, what their purpose is. Let's take a look further into the essay, paragraph 22. It says the alternate method. If you would rather keep your t-shirts intact, run a curtain rod straight through the armholes of as many t-shirts as it takes to cover the width of the window. Repeat this procedure, adding more rows until the window is covered. Smelly, worn t-shirts can be put on the rods to be aired out, thus saving you from having to wash them. If you didn't understand before, at this point, hopefully you weren't thinking, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Hopefully you realized at that point, if you hadn't realized before, that this essay is actually meant to be humorous. It's supposed to be funny. Yes, it is a set of instructions, but unlike a regular set of instructions, the purpose of this essay is really to parody how-to magazines or do-it-yourself books. So, for instance, the For Dummies series or the Martha Stewart magazines. If anybody's actually attempted to do anything, any project that Martha Stewart has put into a do-it-yourself magazine, you realize that it actually is extremely expensive, very complicated, and hardly worth the time and effort that you put into it. Now, you do create something that's very cute at the end, but if we look at these items that Joshua Piven is suggesting we create, I'm not sure that these are actually the cute things that Martha Stewart would appreciate. So this is expensive, complicated, and the end result is something that's really rather silly. So to parody really means to mimic, and you're mimicking in order to make fun. So you're imitating something in order to make fun of that thing. So this essay type is a set of instructions. But the purpose is really not to show the reader how to actually perform something. It's really to show the reader that how-to magazines, that those do-it-yourself books are kind of silly and complicated and expensive. So they're mimicking this and imitating that for that purpose. The essay is written in the present tense. We have all present tense verbs here. And it's also written in the imperative mood. Almost any sentence that you point to in this essay is written as a command. So let's take a look at a few of them. Paragraphs 2, 3, 4, 5. All of these are written in the imperative mood. They're all commands. They say, turn the crate upside down. Create the base of the cushion. Place the magazine on the top of the bottom of the crate. Use the scissors to trim the magazine pages. Arrange 4 sponges. Lay the sponges next to one another. Lay the remaining sponges on top. Create a second layer of cushion by centering 2 sponges on top of the first layer, and so on and so forth. These are commands. Now we know that this is written in the second person because not only in the first paragraph do we have the actual word you, so it's referring to you, the reader, but also anytime you have a command, anytime you use the imperative mood, the implied subject is you as well. And if we take a look at the examples here on the screen, you can see that if you place the word you in front of any of these sentences written in the imperative mood, it makes sense. So you actually works as the subject. So although it's not written explicitly there, it is implied that the subject of the imperative sentence is you. So you turn the crate upside down. You create the base of the cushion. You arrange 4 sponges on top of the magazine. Okay, so this essay doesn't really look like a typical essay. And if you choose to write a set of instructions, I would really like you to make sure, first of all, that you stay very organized and that you have a specific purpose in mind. That purpose could be to write a humorous parody of something, just like Joshua Piven did, or you can write a serious set of instructions. Either way, though, I'd like you to include an introduction and a conclusion to your set of instructions. So Joshua Piven doesn't have an introduction, he doesn't have a conclusion, and that's because he's trying to be funny. He's trying to parody the how-to magazines. But if you're going to be serious and write a set of instructions, I'd like you to include an introduction before that set of instructions and a conclusion after it, just to give it a more formal essay structure to it. All right, so this concludes the lecture and discussion on the 2 essays that we read for this week, Getting Coffee is Hard to Do and How to Decorate Your Room When You're Broke, and analyzing them with regard to what a process analysis essay is. Please use what you've learned here and apply that information to your own process analysis essay. Thank you.